Hey guys, Leah and Michelle, Resistance Chicks. It's April 5th, 2017. It is a Wednesday. We want to bring you an update because I know we promised this the other day, but we've been busy.
On Russia, and it's really hard to do right now because of what's happening in Syria.
But I feel like it's perfect timing, actually. I feel like maybe God had us wait just so that we could kind of bring it together and bring it back.
There's a world system, and Russia has chosen not to be part of the globalists. And even to an extent, China. I'm not a China fan. I'm more of a Russian fan than a China fan.
Right.
But China doesn't want to be part of the global one world order pretty much either.
No, they'd rather just rule the whole world.
Yeah, exactly. So anyways, I wanted to bring you this video. This was a heart-wrenching video of this man whose wife was killed on the train.
I'm not even sure I can watch this. They're just telling me about it.
His daughter was injured. And I feel like it's super important, especially right now, for our hearts to go out to them. Our hearts went out to the people in the UK. Our hearts went out to Paris. Our hearts went out to Brussels. But these are real people in Russia.
Right.
And CNN isn't going to play this. And MSNBC, they don't care. They want the Russians gone. They want them all gone. When you hear Clinton speak, when you hear the Democrats speak, Russia, the whole entire nation and country doesn't deserve our sympathy or our love. And I have watched their videos. I've watched their farms. These are good,
real people,
real honest people,
salt of the earth people.
Okay.
The Russian city of St. Petersburg has entered a second day of mourning for the 14 people who were killed by an explosion on Monday. Dozens more were injured when a bomb went off in a crowded metro train in the city centre. We spoke to one man whose wife died in the tragedy.
В результате зверского теракта против невинных людей погибла моя любимая жена.
My beloved wife died and my daughter was injured.
Это страшная
беда. It's a horrible tragedy.
Я так жалею.
I'm so sorry that I didn't call her yesterday. It seemed like any other day. I knew where they were going.
Куда шли?
I thought that I ought not to distract her while she was on her way. Maybe my call would have saved her life. Just a 3-minute call, a pause on her way, and they would have been on another train. At 2 p.m., my life was divided into two parts. A happy one before that time. An unclear one afterwards. Unclear because I don't know how to go on living. She made dolls. She started back when she lived in Novgorod Oblast. She loved dolls since her childhood. In the beginning it was a hobby, then she made it her job.
Она работала
преподавателем,
пешком прошли
I guess they went to
площади, зашли там в магазин, купили аксессуары для кукол, глазки они собирались купить. Вот.
Then they entered the metro and got into that faded train.
Попали в это трагическое количество. Это очень страшно.
It's so horrifying.
Это очень тяжело. Это большая беда. Беда у всех.
Everyone lost a loved one, knows it. Everyone who's lost a loved one knows it. So I wanted to play that for you. It's really, I think that it's really important for us to recognize that these people lost their lives, and
for the globalist agenda to, oh my gosh, beautiful,
so, yeah,
beautiful, to take this and use it as a political.
Right.
And listen, like, I'm sorry. I don't care who you are. These people and these families deserve recognition. They deserve their time to say, you know what? I am so sorry that this has happened to you. And I'm going to pray for you. Like, that's it.
Says this mother in St. Petersburg suicide bombing saved her daughter by diving on top of her. Our hearts just go out to them. Donald Trump tweeted out, he said he offers this full support, and I think, honestly, this is what really throws me. Trump offers Putin's full support in subway bombing investigation, and that was the 4th. And then we have this chemical airstrike happening by Assad. President Trump, in a call with Russian President Vladimir Putin late Monday, President Trump offered the full support of the United States government in responding to the attack and bringing those responsible to justice, the White House said. Both President Trump and President Putin agreed that terrorism must be decisively and quickly defeated. 14 people were killed in a suspected terrorist bombing, they do know who he was. It was terror. It was a suicide attack, and there might even be an accomplice out there, so I'm going to go ahead and play this.
The identity of the homicide bomber in yesterday's deadly attack on a subway in St. Petersburg, Russia. Authorities say he's a 22-year-old Russian citizen born in the former Soviet Republic of Kyrgyzstan. That he may have also had links to radical Islamic groups. That is under investigation. For more, I'm joined by Michael Balboni, the former Homeland Security Advisor for New York State. Michael, I know that as Homeland Security Advisor, you dealt a lot with investigative agencies in Russia, correct?
Well, one of the things that we've always looked at is whenever something has happened over there, we try to work obviously through the federal government and our sources there, specifically the FBI, to understand what is going on over there. And as you know, the New York City Police Department, among others, have developed a capability for immediate information that comes back after an attack like this. What's crucial, John, as you know, is what are the similarities to attacks that have happened before? What does it mean for the United States? And in this case, it's obviously going back to the target that they've gone back so many times, which is a subway system, a transportation system, using a suicide attack using an explosive. So these are things obviously raising lots and lots of concerns for any part of the world that has a subway system.
Yeah, it's believed that something like 7,000 Russian fighters have gone to Syria and actually taken up arms there and then gone back to one of the Russian republics. This guy might be one of them. We don't know yet. But what does that lesson hold for the United States?
Well, what's interesting about this individual, that the profile that is coming out, that here's an individual from Kyrgyzstan, as you mentioned before. They've seen that country has seen 500 of their residents go over to try to fight with ISIS. In addition to which, the Boston Marathon bombers also came from that part of the world. Yeah. So you wonder if there's some synergies there. But the big question here is, did this individual have help? Was this in fact an ISIS-sponsored, a Chechen-sponsored? Because that's the part of this world that we don't really necessarily understand at this point in time. Was the motivation to attack this as a result of a protest of what's gone on in Chechnya, and given the fact that Vladimir Putin was in the city earlier that day? Or is it just part of the campaign that ISIS has waged against Russia?
But it's, happening an awful long way from the United States, obviously. And there are a lot of Americans who say, pardon me, that's a tragic thing, and we pray for those who were wounded or killed, but Vladimir Putin or whomever may have brought this kind of thing on himself. What do you say to Americans about the danger that this kind of attack represents?
We live in a world that is truly a global society, and so what happens overseas, it would be almost security malpractice to not take a look at, could this inspire somebody else here in the United States? This is not a terribly sophisticated attack. Even the device that was unexploded, yes, it was clever, it was in a fire extinguisher, but nonetheless, it was designed to go off basically around the same time. Is that something that you could do here? The question is, yes, as we've seen just recently in New York City, the Chelsea bombings, indicated that somebody was going to place multiple devices in multiple areas to maximize the damage. Well, that's the type of tradecraft that this individual demonstrated. So could he be inspiring somebody else? Always a concern in the United States.
Yeah, the Boston Marathon bombings still fresh in our minds.
So, and they also said on that second bomb that it had the capability to be even worse than the first one. So we wanted to bring you a few updates. Our hearts and prayers go out to Russia. Again, we are we're big fans of Russia, the Russia people. We've been there. Their hearts are turning towards Christ, towards civilization and towards being a civilized nation, and they're throwing off the throes of communism, and we need to support them in ways that we can support them. And then in areas where obviously you've got millions of people in a country, they were raised under communism, you've got different ideologies, and you've got Russia, right? Recognize that Russia is big, and then
It's
it's surrounded by other nations over here, Kazakhstan, and this is Kyrgyzstan, where the suicide bomber is from.
Here's
And
Iran.
So, and then over here, you've got a lot of the republics of Russia. That when the Russian Federation dissolved, Islam kind of
Sprung up.
flooded in. Just kind of give you an example, Kyrgyzstan, the state is deeply corrupt and fails to deliver basic services, in particular justice and law enforcement. Islam has become a central factor in public life since the end of the Soviet era, and with only 39 mosques
In 1990
to 2,300 today, Islamic civil society organizations more than doubled since 2000, increasingly substitute the state in providing services so you have a lot of Muslims on the outer regions of Russia, and when that religion and those people take it so seriously and they become radicalized, but like we just saw, a lot of them are going to fight with ISIS in Syria,
Right.
and then they're coming back to this area. And so while the suicide bomber, he was a Russian citizen, he's from this area where the suicide bombers from the Boston bombing are from. This is a very unstable area. And I know that Obama says that Islamic terror springs up because of economic reasons and things like that. But really, it's from a lack of purpose. And then the people find purpose in Islam. And then when they really are trying to find their purpose in Islam and they delve deep into it, and their minds get twisted. So I wanted to kind of bring up the geography so you kind of know what's going on, where these players are, and realize that these tiny little countries can have a massive effect because we don't really look at them. We don't really recognize where their minds are and where their religion is taking them. The world is like a big giant air popper popcorn, and wherever there are Muslims, there's a pop of radical Islamic terror happening.
Here's the difference.
That not all Muslims are this way. I mean, there's beautiful people in these countries, especially in the outlier Russian countries where they have like a lot of still the Russian traditions, and they're still like farmers and they're working with their hands.
Well, and that segues into my point that I want to make is that I know we have some people, just a few, that are always asking, why are you hammering Islam? Why are you hammering Islam? When you look at other religions, not all, but many other, like the other biggest religion besides Islam is Christianity. And you see people as Christians, and we have dreams, and we have ideals that we want to go, and then you have people that want to be missionaries, and they want to go and help other, and spread the gospel of Jesus Christ. They want to go to different countries, be a missionary in the United States, whatever. But most of us have dreams, and we call it a calling from God. We feel like we're called to be farmers right now. We're called to be the resistance chicks. But we have dreams, we have aspirations, and we strive towards those. In Islam, the goal of being a good Muslim most of the time isn't, I want to be a missionary, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a farmer, I want to fulfill my life and my calling from God here on earth. It is fulfilling your life as waging jihad, or even if you're not waging jihad, to just literally spread Islam throughout the entire world. And now, Leah and Michelle, what's the problem with that? You guys would love it if Christianity was spread throughout the world. Absolutely, because it is the one true faith that God is real. But that being aside, even if it wasn't, Christianity doesn't call for Sharia law or anything anywhere close to that. And Islam is a very dangerous religion to have spread throughout the entire world. And so to fulfill the calling as a good Muslim, good meaning as far as the Quran is concerned, you're not dreaming about growing up and being a farmer, or the girls aren't growing up thinking they want to be a veterinarian or something like that. It's not that you want to dream and
so I want to
missionize the world.
When you're looking at Muslims, there's so many different kinds of Muslims. There's so many people who've just been engulfed into a Muslim country. And when I was looking at pictures and things like that, in the outlying countries surrounding Russia, I just see there's a lot of these women are fighting back. I mean, they get it. Okay, we wear the real Russian headscarf and we're cool, and then you want us to wear a hijab? What is this? Why are you acting this way? They got to the point where they were paintballing the women who went out without a headscarf or things like that. So there's a push, and where Islam pushes forward, most people are okay with an Islam that you pray, you have morals and things like that. But you have across the world this rebirth of fundamental Islam.
Right.
And they are pushing it on these cultures. And I saw pictures, you can Google it, the Chechnya region and things like that. And I saw pictures of farmers and girls, and they just want to do their thing. And suddenly Islam comes in and it's trying to mess with their culture. And it's trying to engulf their culture, their Russian culture. So anyways,
the agenda that I want to push, and I have no problem saying that I do, I want to push the fact that this has completely been swept under the rug in the wake of this chemical attack that supposedly was done by Assad. And now we all want to rush in and take out Assad, and it's this big push, and then all of a sudden that man that we just watched crying his eyes out because he just lost his wife a couple of days ago, and he's regretting not taking a phone call with her or whatever, and his life is completely turned upside down. But you'll be fine, guy, because we have Assad to fight. That this is being used as a political agenda. So I'm just disgusted by it. We need to take time to help Russia mourn for what has happened and to be supportive as human beings.
Right,
So.
they're surrounded by Muslims who want and terrorists, radical Islamic terrorists who want to take out Russia, and so we're fighting the same battle, and so we have to meet on the same front.
Right.
Fight the same battle.
All right, you guys, this is Leah Michelle signing off for Resistance Chicks, where it's not a conspiracy theory if it's the truth. Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe to Mass Faith 3 and Resistance Chicks. Ring the bell so you keep getting notifications, and find us on Facebook and Twitter. We love you guys. God bless.